What's up, Go enthusiasts? If you have never heard of Seo Bong-soo before, you have an excellent player to learn about. Seo Bong-soo is a legend of the game, and he won the 1992 Ing Cup that I covered Ryu Naiwei beating Lee Chang-ho in the last video. So he's a world champion of the Ing Cup, very prestigious world champion. And beyond that, I mean, just an absolute legend. He has played 350 official tournament matches with Cho Hun-hyun only. Nobody else, just Cho Hun-hyun and versus Seo Bong-soo has happened 350 times. Not just they played each other, 350 times in tournaments, in leagues, in paid professional play. It's simply unreal. And yes, Seo Bong-soo also, he was the fourth Korean professional ever to become a non-done professional. The first Korean to ever win 1,000 professional games, and the first professional ever to win, or to achieve, 2,000 career games. And he got 1,500 professional wins in 2012. And yeah, I mean, absolute legend of the game. He's stayed super active even as he's gotten older, but time comes for us all. And now he's 71 years old. So you'd think he's significantly worse than he used to be. And it's probably true. He's probably a little bit worse than he used to be. But he just won a senior tournament in Korea. You may be like, oh yeah, whatever. He's 71. He can win some senior tournament. Senior in Go, the cutoff is really low. You're a senior if you're 45 years or older. 45 years old and up. So winning that at 71 is actually really impressive. He was playing as Lee Chang-ho and is in the tournament. And like a lot of people at the age of, 47 years old, they're not that bad at Go, right? They haven't, their mental faculties aren't really declining. To win it at 71, really impressive, really impressive stuff. He actually played, though, a much more interesting series of games, in my opinion, than even that a couple years ago, when he challenged five of the top five, or at least five of the top 10 Korean players to a series of games where he would take handicap if he lost, and he'd continue taking handicap if he lost more. So he played against Park Seung-won on 2 stones handicap. This is really interesting. Park Seung-won is my personal favorite player of all time. In my opinion, Park Seung-won has the best understanding of Go in the history of the world. In the history of the universe, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, maybe Katago has a better understanding of Go than Park Seung-won, but maybe. I love the way that Park Seung-won plays, and he is in his prime. Especially 2 years ago, he's super in his prime. That's extremely strong Park Seung-won. And one thing that sometimes we complain that we don't get to see is what happens when the super top players today would give handicap to the more average professionals. Seo Bong-soo is no average professional, but maybe at 71 he's starting to get more average. He can still win the over 45-year-old tournament in all of Korea at 71. Can Park Seung-won give 2 stones to a world champion and win? Let's take a look. Park Seung-won, of course, plays white because Seo Bong-soo has handicap. He has the 2 stones. And of course, there's no Komi in this game as well. If there was Komi, then 2 stones handicap would be like significantly reduced. This is considered something like 17 or 18 points. I think it's more like 17 points advantage to the AI of 2 stones and no Komi. It's not really making sense unless you think that the advantage should compound a little bit. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Park Seung-won plays the large knight in the upper left, and you can see already Park Seung-won's strategy in this game seems to be to leave some weaknesses and invite Seo Bong-soo in. So if Seo Bong-soo would choose to push and cut here, then Park Seung-won is planning to Atari like this and extend like that. And this 1 stone approaching here, you can see it's very nicely placed to hem in the 3 stones of black on the top side. So the push and cut doesn't seem immediately working. So Seo Bong-soo just chose something else to do. He shoulder hit and jumped over here. And Park Seung-won just peeped. And yeah, black takes a pretty interesting decision here. He just gets this wall in the center and allows white to split that 1 stone on the left side. This looks like it would be locally inefficient for black, but the good news is that white is quite slow, right? Like white just put a bunch of stones in that one little area. And in a handicap game, if white just gets some thick areas, then how are they going to catch up, right? Like this area is just about fair. Maybe you can argue it's slightly better for Park Chung-won, like a very tiny bit. No big deal, right? And Seo Bung-soo leans into that when he plays this attach. He says, okay, you're very small over there, right? So you want to take us some more? Or do you want to fight against me? But the problem with fighting is that Park Chung-won left this large knight here earlier. So if he lets black get super strong, he's going to get broken in the upper right. So he says, okay, well, I don't want to just like completely take the left side. I want to fight against you sometime, but I can't really fight against you now. So I'll just pull back and wait. So he's hoping, oh, I'll hane through, I'll cut and fight this black stuff later. But Seo Bung-soo plays here. And this is a trick move, actually, against Park Chung-won, which Park Chung-won falls for. Falls for, in quotation marks. I mean, the idea of this is executed with Seo Bung-soo's next move, this knight's move. Actually, originally, if black would play this knight's move, white can't easily eat it. You can see now, both this stone and this stone are in danger of being captured, and white can't save both of them. So white would be broken like this. That's not possible. White needs to instead extend here. And then, in some variation like this, white can take the corner, black has another group. It's like a big fight. This is the kind of thing that white in general wants. But if black can exchange this and then play the same variation, well, white actually doesn't go for it. He jumps this time, and he does something different. Because this variation, it's different now if you exchange this turn for the white extend. This white, 2 stones, being 2 stones instead of 1 stone, means that white cares about it more. And if that's heavier in that way, then white has a much harder time saving the corner. Because black can harass that in a way which also allows him to harass this, and black can imagine himself taking an initiative throughout this game. So white was like, okay, that's a nice idea. And he spent a little bit of time thinking, and he jumped here. And then Seo Bung-soo spent a long time thinking. I actually watched this game, the stream of it, on Buduk TV. I'll link it in the description. Yeah, this game was 20 minutes main time and 1 minute Byoyomi, 5 times 1 minute Byoyomi. So Seo Bung-soo decided to spend like all of his main time here. And then he found the best move, which is hane. And allowing white to cut like this, and then to push 1 time here first, asking white whether he's going to have a cut on the left side, whether like Seo Bung-soo should look into fighting over there, and white says, no, I don't have a cut. So black switches back again, pushes through here, and extends. This is all exactly correct. And then Seo Bung-soo pushes here a couple times, exactly correct again. He spent another couple minutes before doing this. And then plays here, and here, and here, and here. And this is all like the exact AI sequence. This guy is not bad, okay? Like, why was this all the exact AI sequence? Like, what the heck? Well, the problem is that black can't easily fight against this white jump, first of all. If you ignore this jump and try to punish the 2 stones, then you're going to get punished much harder with your own 1 stone since white's attached to it instead of just extending next to it. So you want to play this hane. And then the reason for this exchange now is that cut is actually quite relevant on the left side. It means either whether black will surround from the center or whether black will get this tiger's mouth and sente, which could change what he's going to do. So once he gets that exchange, forcing white down at this exact moment where he would like actually use the power in some stronger way, then he can start to think about sacrificing. And by pushing over here, he's threatening to play the Atari from the outside all the time. If you play for the Atari from the outside, he gets around this way. So white needs to extend and extend. White can't allow black to curl on top of him. But at this point, black could no longer really immediately threaten the curl. So he chooses to make the sacrifice in the corner to steal away all the corner territory, forcing white to come back here, but black still has this sente move in the middle, and he can cover his cut so nicely. And the black shape, you can see, is just beautiful. White has comparatively little territory to how a lot of the other variations could have gone. And black has so much outside thickness that white is forced to hane, Because otherwise black would just surround everything in the center, and black and Hane, white extends, and black can play here. And so black has gotten perfectly strong on the left side. Everything is safe there. And he's let white gate these fair positions. They're not particularly good, not particularly bad. And he set up something good for himself on the bottom side. So far, Xiao Bangsu, basically no mistakes. Park Xingwan, though, also no mistakes. And that was a very interesting fight in the beginning, in which Xiao Bangsu has now entered Byoyomi, but Park Xingwan has plenty of time on his clock. So what he does is he tries to start some more fights. Of course, he's giving 2 handicap. He has to make some fights to be able to win the game. He plays this double approach and then the 3-3 invasion, which Xiao Bangsu decides to play this tiger's mouth. Apparently it was wrong, actually, because when white plays here and black eats the stone, black is getting his influence towards the top side, but the top side you can see there's nothing there. I mean, white is perfectly thick on the top side, black will never attack that, and white wasn't really going to get that much territory there either. So that direction of play is not that valuable compared to the bottom and the right side. So objectively, probably black should have gone here, but I don't think that Xiao Bangsu regrets his decision to tiger, because this way is very complicated a lot of the time. The AI variations, they often depend on this ko in particularly interesting ways that are very difficult to study and to understand, but that the top players like Park Xingwan have studied, and because this kind of stuff happens in games pretty often. So to play this way, this is a much simpler and easier to understand Joseki, where black is pretty unlikely to get under a severe attack later. And I mean, the game can just continue here where black got another thick position. Okay, maybe the direction of play wasn't the absolute best, but it's not close to, white regaining all the 2 handicap advantage. That's a massive advantage at the start of the game. And black is building the bottom side. White at the same time is building the right side. So they go through this variation where white pushes up and tries to say, hey, I take the right side, you take the bottom side, but you don't have the bottom side. Park Xingwan invades. This stuff is hard. This is very difficult to do from the white side and from the black side. And attacking this kind of thing, we've started to understand how hard it is after AI. I think before AI, we basically thought that black should be able to score in this kind of a fight, and that if white manages to sort of get away with something, something went wrong for black. But now we've realized, basically, actually white deserves to get something in this kind of situation. Where, okay, there's weaknesses on the left side, there's space on the right side, and there's all sorts of resources in the center. All of these resources should be able to be used by white if white just sort of takes them in good order. And so Xiao Bangsu plays here a very proper and, good style fighting move. Xiao Bangsu, by the way, is a player who has very intuitive fighting. If you want to watch a player who has sort of a normal level of aggression, a reasonable level of aggression for a 9-dan professional, and a lot of intuition. I mean, he's a very intuitive player. Xiao Bangsu is a good guy to watch, and this is a very, very normal aggressive move. But actually, the AI does not like it, and Park Xingwan punishes it. Unbelievably. This move gets punished. It's bad. And what was black supposed to do? Tanuki. Don't do anything. There is no attack that's good, according to AI. So you just play away, and you say, okay, whatever. If if white makes a 2-space space, I didn't have anything there anyway, because white deserved to do stuff. That's pretty crazy. This is much, much more human to play like this. But when white attaches like this, you don't want to fall back, because white is going to get more power against your 3 stones in the center, and in general to run and use the left side weaknesses. So you're like, well, I should fight against it. But then Xiao Bangsu, when he fought against this, he definitely wanted to cut, but he realized, I don't actually think I can cut, because after cut here, This looks very promising, and after this move, okay, this one is not going to work because the cut is too painful for black. But this one looks like you can just restrict these white 4 stones and say, hey, you know what? You can't make a life there. There's not enough space. What are you doing? But I think Xiao Su suddenly saw this move from Park Chung-hwan. This is a great move to try to expand the space as much as possible. Where even now, white doesn't like really have enough space to live, but this clamp gets really annoying. Where if you start having to descend or something like that, and then white can still sacrifice this from the outside and play from the center and steal away the corner potentially, and like, oh dear, things can start collapsing. So just Hane from Xiao Su, a more conservative way to try the fight, where he says, I take this stuff underneath, I let you take whatever thing that you think you can get in the center, it probably won't be that good for you, right? Like, I mean, look at the center control that black has. Look at the center control that white has. Black should win, right? It seems like it. But white plays this Hane in this tiger's mouth. Black cuts. He's like, well, I have to fix my cuts in the center somehow. And he chooses to play this move to give white an empty triangle and then be able to save. So now he's really strong and thick on the bottom side. And this white looks really restricted. And it just has to run now. Like, this is a really critical moment where Park Chung-hwan has to make something happen. So we actually spent a lot of time here, and I enjoyed, while Park Chung-hwan was thinking, to try to calculate it myself and think, how would I plan my my approach here? And I was very happy to come up with the same plan as Park Chung-hwan at this moment. Just attach here. I think it's a great move. This attach is very hard to answer for black because we are planning on harassing the left side with his attach, actually. So if black plays here, this is a pretty standard response to the attach, where black is saying, hey, I want to, cut you off from the 5 stones. I'll take the whole bottom side, and then I'll be happy. If white tries to interact with it, maybe that will work for black, but white can skip interacting and immediately go to the vital point here. And yeah, this is actually going to be super painful for black. Black can't easily like fall back like this. This is going to be doomed. Black wants to fight, but this attach will split black apart. And you can't play like this. This is just too sad on the left side. You'd have to try to split white back, but you can see here, you still can't play like that. This is doomed. Even here, maybe? Maybe that's better, I'm not sure. Black would play like this, and here, and now you can see clearly white got out. Black is under attack and under attack. This is not acceptable for black. So that's the plan, and that's why Xiao Su did not interact with this directly, but chose to just run. He said, okay, you played that, then you're going to harass me all the way over here. That's fine. You can go ahead and harass me. I'm going to try to get the best power that I can towards the right side. That's still important, The right side is still unsettled. But Park Chung-hwan took that opportunity to say, well, then I can take your vital point. And if you come out like this, I can do the same thing. And this time, I squeeze with this Hane for top. I saw this too, by the way. I was very happy. I did the same calculation as Park Chung-hwan. Actually, I checked it with AI later, and although me and Park Chung-hwan had the same answer, there's like a lot of different answers here. You didn't just have to be that way. There were many other things that were working. I thought this is like special, but it's not that special. However, it is special enough to be gaining for white. And this is so annoying from the black perspective. He eventually just had to try to live this group, which is so sad. So sad. And then white could extend like that, black extended up. And then after this, he even just had to spend another move and live. So sad again. Oh, man. And white could save the cutting stone and start attacking here. And this defense that white was supposed to be doing has suddenly turned into an attack and not really defending this group anymore at all. What did Xiao Su do wrong? Honestly, not much. This is just what Park Chung-hwan has understood about how Go is supposed to work. You throw a stone inside your opponent's territory like this, or your opponent's, there's not territory yet, it's their potential. You throw a stone like this, and if you have Park Chung-hwan's level of calculation, his level of awareness into like what's supposed to happen from here, there's just nothing that black can do. And black is supposed to play away. Like, black actually just cannot, attacking does not work. The highest level. Well, that's not exactly true. Attacking does work, but it doesn't work if Wei has plans, no matter what. And Wei had clear plans in every single variation here. So there was nothing for black to do. Black just, I mean, maybe at this point, black could have taken the vital point here first. It feels very silly, but there was no real rush to play, because even if white plays this now, he can still play that jump. There was no real rush to play the jump in that side, so this way maybe he could take a little bit more control over the fight. But, I mean, yeah, the reason why he did this, by the way, he could have continued to try to run out or play over here, but it would be really annoying just whenever white plays another move outside. White is threatening to Atari and then kill the group locally, so black would still have to spend a move inside. He thought, I might as well spend the move inside right away, and then I still have some threat to come out here, so I can still keep this white group under some counter pressure. Which Park Shing-wan was aware of, and he said, okay, then I'll just defend. But actually, this move is a little bit slack, particularly for a handicap game. Is quite defensive here. He's just trying to say, oh, I can save my group maybe locally with 2 eyes on the bottom side, even if you try to chase me. But that slackness does not go unpunished by Seo Bang-soo. Seo Bang-soo got rolled, but he didn't get rolled because he played bad moves so far. He just got rolled because Park Shing-wan is a genius. Seo Bang-soo is also a genius. Also an absolute legend of the game. He plays this vital point, the perfect timing. I mean, maybe before now is the perfect timing, but if yesterday was the perfect timing, then today is the perfect timing now, right? So, Park Shing-wan pushes out like this. So Park Shing-wan's intent is to make a double attack, to attack this bamboo and to attack this group on the right side. But it's not that easy. And again, attacking does not work at this level. So Seo Bang-soo just sets up some shape, says, hey, I'll defend this. And Park Shing-wan attaches. He wants to press it. He wants to attack it and at the same time attack the 4 stones in the center there. So hopefully, even if this black lives on the side, then Park Shing-wan will get an initiative throughout the rest of the board. But black starts living on the side really nicely. And then he plays his jump as well, and he saves the other part of the board too. And Park Shing-wan has to fix, and black can fix, and then Park Shing-wan plays here. This was a great move. A really nice move. Because this one makes it so that black should answer with this empty triangle. I mean, there's not really a good reason not to answer with that empty triangle. But by doing so, he leaves behind a cut next to his weak shape, right? Some problematic eye shape. And after this one happens, there's a life and death problem. There's a Sumego. And it's really, really good for the stronger player when there's a Sumego in the game. The stronger player can always outsolve the weaker player in the Sumego. And maybe, in history, Seo Bang-soo is not, say, a significantly weaker player than Park Shing-wan, but at this time, when Seo Bang-soo, at the time of the game, he was 69, and Park Shing-wan was, still in, I think around 30, probably, at the time of the game, in his prime. Seo Bang-soo eventually, he ran down to the last seconds of his Ryomi and played the stone, and it was like, man, did I really have to play here? It's not sure. It's not clear. It's a very difficult Sumego, actually. But Park Shing-wan solved it correctly. And the first thing after the game ended that Seo Bang-soo asked him about, I don't have their audio, but the first thing that they gestured towards was this right side. And the first thing that Park Shing-wan did was he showed him the correct way to save this group. Which, instead of pushing there, you should Hane here. Why? I mean, which is blocks, right? But after you exchange that, then you can play away. So after that, if black does some random other thing, let's say attack this group in the bottom side, this looks very, very dangerous, right? Black needs to block like that. And then there's this cut, and if white can just connect back over there, that's going to be very powerful. So this is a common, powerful move. If you would play this Atari here, that's also a common move, but this jump perfectly fixes things for black. So this is the vital point. And then black can play here, but then you'd think, wait, Atari is here, so if black connects, then this is ultimately going to die for black. That's not good. But there's a trick. A trick that Xiao Bangsu did not see here, which is Atari. Like this. I don't think he didn't see it because he didn't, like, he can't see this. This is not actually that difficult of a Sumego at this level, but the problem is that it's hidden behind a whole bunch of other things. Like, it's hard to think, oh, I just Hane first, and then I can play the thing, and the thing, and the thing, and to make that Sumego. But Park Chung-hwan knew. He knew. So Black spent Gote, saving his group, but he didn't have to. He could have spent Sente. He could have gone to the other area. And Park Chung-hwan uses that initiative. He attaches again. Attaching to attack again. What does it mean when you attach to attack? It means it's not your primary target. So his first attack was making noise against this black group on the right side. Now he's making noise against this black group in the center. What's his final target? It's the black group on the top side here. If white descends at 0-2, sometimes that group will get in trouble. That's what white is aiming for when he plays like this. He's splitting and trying to make trouble. So black plays this Hane inside. He says, oh, you really want to attack me? Go ahead, cut me. Then I will save my group in the center. You'll have to save. Then I'll save my group in the top side. Clean. And Park Chung-hwan says, yeah, that would be clean. So I won't do it. What do? Whenever you're near a potential bamboo shape, you check what happens and you break the bamboo, no matter what. Break the bamboo, guys. I haven't said it in a while, but I still believe in breaking the bamboo. It's extremely, extremely strong. And yeah, this move, I don't think Xiao Bangsu really thought about it very hard, because it doesn't, like, usually when you play this kind of Hane, you think about the very forcing things, the very harsh, violent things that your opponent can do. And this doesn't really, like, show the spirit of violence on the direct, next move. But it does create these two cutting points, and black has a hard time showing that he's going to be fine through them. Black has some trades to make. I mean, it's unclear exactly what black should be emphasizing, because eventually white will basically decide, based off what black decides, whether to attack the top group or the bottom group, the center group. Black connects. It's a very ambitious move. Xiao Bangsu is an ambitious player. He says, wait, you go ahead and wedge. Cut me, I dare you. And white dares. He's like, okay, I cut you, and then what are you going to do about it? Like, I'm going to attack your group in the center. And Xiao Bangsu says, I'll save it. And Park Chung-hwan's like, really? I'll connect? Go ahead, try to save it. Let me turn. And Xiao Bangsu's like, I'll save it. Actually, I think that Xiao Bangsu probably had planned to play here, but it gets pretty difficult, this fight. White will save these 4 stones. Xiao Bangsu would like to then continue to come back, save these. There's a couple problems. First of all, there's a problem with the Atari here, so this group on the bottom side is not that easily attackable unless you capture this with the Atari like this, which causes there to be problems here. And there's also problems here. So it looked very, very problematic, and he's like, oh, okay, never mind. I'm going to just chill for now, play this Tiger's Mouth. And Park Chung-hwan played Jump. Important not to play Atari. This kind of Atari is a common mistake. It would not be good to play the Atari there because you don't need it, and because you want to keep the opponent having their cutting problems to be used from other directions. So when he plays like this instead and plays Tiger's Mouth, later on this black group can become short of liberties as white tries to Atari and in general short the liberties with like attach here and that sort of thing. Those tricks can work, attach here can be almost sente, right? It's much nicer to do the thing which you know you're going to need to do and leave the strongest potential in the other areas than to do the thing that you know you're going to need to do like extra and then leave less potential in the other areas, right? So because Jump already immediately fixes this area, he didn't need to Atari and then continue to hurt his own group on the bottom side, that group's potential, by giving black an extra stone, extra stability, less cut. Okay. Time to attack. White descends. Black plays here, forcing move. And black has a decision. Black can block from either side. If he blocks on the corner, white will run all the way on the side and will be able to link up to this super strength that he has over here. If black blocks on this side, white will run to the corner. Which one is easier to save the group? It's actually hard. Black chooses to block from this side, so white runs to the corner, and black jumps like this. Very, very understandable sequence, but there's a problem, which is this move from white, paired with this attach. Black finds it hard to live. It's possible to live, but it's hard. You have to make some bad exchanges. Park Xinguan is very, very good at restricting. This is attacking the way it's meant to be done, where you sit there in front of several different things, you let your opponent have the difficult decision of what to defend. Right? The reason why the defenses worked really well on the bottom side and on the right side is that it was very obvious to the defender what they had to care about. There was just the one area that you should break the area, make sure that they find the area, and then they're fine. This kind of defending is much less easy to execute on because it's much less clear what you're supposed to care about. Should I take the eye there? Should I be emphasizing on this area? Should I make a ko? Should I sacrifice my group? You may think I'm crazy to say sacrifice your group. But black was actually winning at this moment by a lot. But only if he would sacrifice his group. Why? Why do you need to sacrifice your group here? Well, it was because white did this. I mean, if white hadn't done this, if white had just been passive here, then black would have been able to save his group very, very nicely. If white just plays like this, then here and here, black has a clear 2 eyes, and then at the same time he's looking to push through, and this sucks. I don't like it. So Park Xinguan tried to restrict it harder, and he wanted black, hey, black, you should fix my weakness for me, and then go back and make your eye, and then I get more territory, and I can squeeze you a bit, and I don't have to worry about the right side. Much better. So Xiao Bangsu is like, all right, I see that that's your plan. I'm going to harass you a bit into your corner, force you to answer like this, and then force you to answer a bit here, and then I'll live. Which is very sensible. And he's still leading when he does like that, but not very much. And he had a much, much harsher way to play. To play harsher, though, you have to recognize something which is unbelievable. If you die with this group, here and here, white can Atari like this, then black can attack this, he can throw in, he can play on this side, and white can make sure that he's gonna win the Liberty race in here. Black will get some forcing moves. Maybe eventually this one will be his forcing move. Why do I highlight this one? Because with this move, that move, and Sente, black can kill the bottom. But you need this move at 160. It's unreal, honestly. It's crazy for me to say such a thing. Why do you need that move at 160? Well, actually, if you kill this, or if you try to kill it, it's really close to dying. First of all, you can take away this eye, potential eye in the center, and then white wants to be able to say, oh, I can save over here, but you can clamp, and you can really go after this guy. And it's hard to live. It's really hard to live as white. You can play here, but black will play here. How do you live? Actually, there's not that much space, right? There's just enough space, in fact, to play here. This one is forcing against these 4 stones if black doesn't have this connection. And then white can push through and save the group. So if black has this connection already, let's say white has to answer and kill the group over there, black could connect here, and then this would be dead. It's crazy, this game of Go. This black connection kills the white group. I mean, potentially. So Xiao Bangsu didn't have to save his group here. He just had to make a Liberty race against his group on the right enough that he gets this connection in Sente, which he would. He would be just 1 Liberty losing the Liberty race, so he would die this whole group, and he would kill this whole group, and then he'd be leading by a lot. It didn't happen. It didn't happen in the game. Xiao Bangsu did the much more ordinary human thing. Very, very natural. go and okay, I save my group, I save my group, I save my group, and then Park Jung-won gets to save his group too. He plays his Hane, and Seo Bung-soo takes the corner, and we're heading into an endgame. And Seo Bung-soo is still leading. Park Jung-won is caught up because he did a very nice attack over here, and Seo Bung-soo was forced to make some, sad exchanges, just take a couple eyes, and he's been forced to, make a couple eyes over here, and make some sort of sad exchanges over here, but he still has some territory. He's still alive in all of the different areas, and White doesn't have that much territory anywhere, right? Like, where is White's territory? Just on the left side, a little bit on the top side, a little bit over here, just little bits here, little bits there. So Black can still have control of this game. However, this, I think, is a regrettable choice, this Knight's move. Seo Bung-soo has played this many times before, inviting the opponent in to invade, but I don't think he's ever played it before where White had this much strength right there. If White has that much strength, it's a little bit different than normal. Park Jung-won shows him. First he plays here. This move is very annoying. Very, very, very annoying. Seo Bung-soo decides to answer. He didn't actually have to answer. Like, he could have played some other area, but yeah, even though that this is Black Sente, still this cut is very, very difficult for Black, or basically annoying, where Black is going to have to come back and handle this group over here, and he has to basically save it with eyes, and at the same time White is going to get this Hane and connect and Sente, force Black to come back and answer here, and then cut and force Black probably like this, so that you get the potential eye shape there. Force Black to save in this area as well. Is this one going to be forcing, and then I may have failed slightly. Maybe I had to play. Oh man, there's problems. There's problems abound, right? So this move is very understandable. To just answer here means that, okay, with the other move here, there's like super thick shape, and Black won't have to pay very much territory. He won't have to pay the territory on the right. He can look to continue to fight back in the center with the cut and the Aji on the left side. So Park Jung-won has basically one last moment to trigger something and try to come back in the game. He plays here. This is why the Knight's move is not acceptable. When your opponent has this much thickness, instead of playing that Knight's move, much better to play this kind of a jump and just allow White to play this move later. That's not a big deal compared to the here and getting attached. Oh, this is painful sometimes, even when White doesn't have a giga thickness right next to you. And when White does have a giga thickness right next to you, this is almost unshakable. It's almost like uncontinuable. Black could have played here, and then if White would cut like this, Black can't really eat the stone like that. Black would have to fall back somehow. Gosh. Here, here, here. Maybe like this. Doesn't look that happy, but maybe. I think what Seo Bung-soo did in the game is better to play like this. The falling back is just not very well working, but you still can't fall back after this, because again, White is going to split through, and anytime White splits through and starts attacking these two, the corner and the side, is not acceptable. So Black has to connect like this. White saves the corner with the tiger's mouth. Black has to connect, and he saves the corner. And now Seo Bung-soo is basically in a capturing race, where his outside is nearly surrounded, almost surrounded, and the inside is surrounded, but the inside seems to have some eye shape, some eye space. Black tries to beat it up. He tries to poke and descend. And here, Hane is a good exchange. Now we have a really difficult situation. Again, it's Sumego. And again, it favors Park Jung-won for there to be Sumego on the board. It's so hard to figure out how to play this kind of thing correctly. I honestly still don't really get it, even after watching the Buduk TV commentators and looking at my Katago. I don't really understand exactly how Black is supposed to order things in this area. It's such a complicated fight. In the game, Seo Bung-soo decided to connect here. That is pretty clearly wrong, because White can connect himself. White becomes very thick on the outside, so this is very beneficial for White. That means White is very unlikely to die here, but also that Black on the right side the bottom right corner got in a lot of danger as well. And the reason why this is not acceptable is that black can't really follow it up with an attack against the white corner. I mean, he tries, but he can't do very much after this jump. He wanted to get more liberties, but it doesn't really work, and still this cut in the center doesn't really work. So he just had to live and allow white to save as well. Now white just decided to save like this, but this is actually a mistake by Park Chung-won. If he would have played like this, the game would be nearly over. If Seo Bong-soo ignores this somehow, first of all, note that this is going to be at least a seki in the corner. So this is safe in the corner already from that, and here is also going to be safe. So this saves the corner as well, just the same as the 2-1 saves the corner. A little less potential territory, but this one has a much greater benefit in the fact that later on this push can really harm black. So if black plays some other random move, this will locally die for black and push and here, or if black plays this becomes a false eye. So if Park Chung-won would have played here, there might have been some exchanges, but functionally black will have to answer eventually, and then Park Chung-won will get to cover this area. And already, because Park Chung-won stole away the whole corner and is, even potentially going to get some territory there and some territory back against this black bottom right corner, this is already successful for Park Chung-won. He's already winning. But in the game he played like this, which allowed Seo Bong-soo, already alive, to try to target Park Chung-won's right side, or left side. I made that mistake recently too. Yeah, this push is a very powerful move, because Park Chung-won should answer like this. This is the good shape move, but that allows this cut to work. Because now, before, Park Chung-won was relying on the liberty that he had over here that black just took. He was relying on the chance to connect here, but this push for Tiger's Mouth exchange means that black can now capture if it goes like this. So instead of being able to save those 4 stones, Park Chung-won had to sacrifice them, and black managed to capture. However, while that variation happened, Park Chung-won, he read, I'm going to be able to get an eye. Park Chung-won saved his own group in the sente, allowing black to capture the whole center. Park Chung-won realized it's really, really important to get sente here, because he played this hane, and here, a move that I found extremely impressive. Extremely. He played here. It's honestly not that unthinkable. Like, I understood after I saw it. But I thought for sure, it's a handicap game, the game is pretty tight. I have some pressure that I can put on black in assorted different areas that I have been putting on black. I thought for sure you go for a ko and you try to make something. But this almost ends the game on the spot. And maybe, honestly, it does end the game on the spot in white's favor. Because what this does is it makes it so that the hane in the corner is still a threat, but the group on the right side, that sumego, is not over. And to do that, while you're threatening the other group, makes the game almost unplayable for Seo Bong-soo. Because as I said before, defending, it's overpowered. It's really easy to do when you're only defending one thing. When Park Chung-won only had to defend his corner here, he could defend the corner. And when he only had to defend his group on the bottom side, he could defend it. When Seo Bong-soo only had to defend his group on the right side, he could do that. That's no problem, right? But when you have to defend 2 things at the same time, you only get to play 1 move. How do you do it? This brilliant double empty triangle, Tiger's Mouth, made a double threat. Seo Bong-soo has to defend his group on the bottom right and his group on the right side. What to do? He played this Atari, but Park Chung-won made this ko, continuing to keep the pressure, and he just played some ko threats. There's other things that Seo Bong-soo has to defend. He made that cutting exchange first so that he could get another ko threat of his own. But there's still more ko threats for Park Chung-won, and that ko threat was fake. Park Chung-won tanukis and kills the right side. This ko threat looks so important. The reason why Seo Bong-soo did that, by the way, if Seo Bong-soo does some casual, very, very, very significant ko threats, like this one, and trying to murder the white group on the right side here. Sorry, the left side. I keep calling things the right side. When white captures like this black group can be dead. So Xiaobengsu's like standard for Kothra, it has to be really high. It has to have something to do with this. Probably he has to just connect here, to be honest, to save this group. But if you just connect here, white would attack this anyway. So he played this. He thought, oh, this is my Kothra. I've got to do something. I've got to try to win this ko to save my two groups together. But Park Shing-wan ignored. He ignored, and he tried to kill this group on the right side. Black connected, and he jumped. And the group on the right side is pretty much just dead. Black captures, white connects, black resents. The variations here are not that complicated, actually. This is dead. You just kill the group. You just reduce, you take the eye shape, you take the eye space. There's not much to be done. And so, Xiaobengsu forced to resign. Crazy game. The AI, it doesn't evaluate this position after white plays this great move, this double empty triangle. It doesn't evaluate it as good for white actually yet. It thinks black is winning. But I actually can't find a way for black to win. Later, when it sees white play this peeping move, often it goes, oh, white plus a lot. Like white gets a lot more than the AI expected. I think my Katago simply gets outplayed by Park Shing-wan in this sequence. It thinks that black is winning. Even here, I think that Xiaobengsu was already lost when Park Shing-wan played this move. Even though Katago doesn't think so. I think so. I think Park Shing-wan knew it. Knew it better than Katago here. And that's how he did it. Park Shing-wan defeated a world champion with 2 stones handicap. What a game. What a game. So Xiaobengsu was pretty sad after this one, understandably. As he is, you know, a competitive guy. He's been playing Go all his life. He really didn't take much of a break at all. Many other top players are much less active than him in the scene once they become more elderly. I have so much respect for Xiaobengsu, even after this game, for, you know, playing all these games in the first place. It takes a lot of courage to play against the absolute best when you're 69 years old. So much respect for Park Shing-wan as well. I hope this shows just how good the top players are these days. Xiaobengsu really didn't play badly at all. I mean, the things that he did wrong were just minor little mistakes. Tiny little things, or crazy things. Absolutely insane, like believing, oh, I will lose the capture race to just get this one move at Q15 or whatever, and that'll let me kill you. That's just crazy. No one does that, right? And then even on the bottom side here, I know that this is like the losing move, probably, but that doesn't mean I know what black was supposed to do. Like, the other ways that black could have tried were crazy. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you never underestimate Park Shing-wan ever again. See you later.